I know.
Hold on, hold.
I'm reading it. I understand it. Epistle Hebrew, but I don't understand.
Okay. We'll get to everything here. Okay. Good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo First at Yeshiva Samanapshi. Our third shir. I'm substituting for Rabbi Ruben Levitt, who is currently in America raising money for the yeshiva. Of course, anyone who's going to help him will certainly appreciate, and your help to Rabbi Levitt will be certainly rewarded, no doubt about it. Samanapshi is located in Yerushalayim, Yer Kodesh, in the building of Chanukah Yeshivas on Rehov Zikron Yaakov. We are very close to the central bus station, so you could walk or bus and drive if you have a car to join us in our shirim. We're getting closer to Hanukkah, so we want to continue on what we left off with last week. We were discussing, based on the Mishnah in Avos, the very beginning of Pirkei Avos, got to the point about Shimon HaTzadik, and we're going to see now a Gemara in Yuma that's going to tell us more about Shimon HaTzadik. But just to recap the Mishnah in Avos, we said that Moshe Kibul Torah Masinai, Mosor Yeshua, Yeshua L'Zakenim, L'Zakenim L'Nevim, L'Nevim Mosra, L'Anshi Knesses HaGadola, V'hem Amru Shlosha Devarim, Hayim Masunim B'din, V'amidu Tamidu Harbe, V'ososai Torah. Shimon HaTzadik, Hayim Yisharei Knesses HaGadola. Shimon HaTzadik was the longest lasting member of the Knesses HaGadola. Hu haya omer al Shlosha Devarim Oimed. On three things the world stands. There are three pillars of the world: Al Torah, Al Avoda, Al Gemilas Chasadim. As the Pri Megadim explains that the Mishnah Berurah brings down in Hilchos Hanukkah, the Yavanim sought to destroy all three pillars of the world on the part of which it stands: Torah, Avoda, and Gemilas Chasadim. And then the Mishnah continues in Tiganos Issocho Kibbul B'Shimon HaTzadik. In Tiganos, the man from Sokol was Makabel, the Torah from Shimon HaTzadik. In Tiganos, you should know, is a Greek name. So we see automatically after Shimon HaTzadik there's a Greek influence into the fabric of Chazal, okay, which we'll try and get to a little bit further on. Now we're going to learn the Gemara, which tells us very big insights about Shimon HaTzadik and the Greek influence, how it filtered into Klal Yisrael, and which led eventually to the Gezeres of Hanukkah and also the eventual miracles of Hanukkah. Okay, let's begin the Gemara. Lauren, you like to read for us? That's in the Samek Tes Amid Aleph in Yuma. There's about the sixth wide line on the daf, Tashma. The Gemara is discussing here about the Big Day Kahuna, right? Whether it can be used not during the time of the voter or not. Meaning, just like we say, good morning. Oh, we're going to come to a Gemara you may be very interested in. Alexander Mukta, a great warrior, general, king of the world, and how he had a special relationship with Shimon HaTzadik.
That's right. That's right. It goes back to Egypt there, right?
Well, this is one they were on the way to Yerushalayim. Here, take a look at this.
Take a look at it.
Have a seat. You comfortable, want some coffee or something to eat?
Oh, you're waylaying me. I'm going to get in trouble with the other guy.
Oh, wow. No, I don't want to take you away from other shit here.
Okay, well, anyway.
You can watch the video, YouTube. Tune in. Okay? If you can't watch, join us now, you tune in, and you'll see it later on today.
I do remember Alexander. He was not a buddy of mine, but he was a very, even, he gave us a break as opposed to the rest of the guys.
You see why he gave us a break.
Right?
Well,
He was a buddy of Shimon HaTzadik.
Because I forgot one.
go ahead, our Lord. Tashma.
That's right. Bidei Kahuna Hayotze Bahen Medina Asar. The garments of the Kohanim, if they went out from the Beis Hamikdash into the Medina, probably outside Yerushalayim.
That's a maklok. Medina is a maklokis, but the pastures outside Medina, let's say pastures outside of Yerushalayim.
Outside Yerushalayim.
That meaning to take them outside of the Medina, that would be asr.
Okay. Uve Mikdash in the Beis Hamikdash, bein b'shas avoda, bein shelo b'shas avoda mutter. Whether it is the time of the Kohen doing the avoda or not the time of the Kohen doing the avoda, it is mutter for him to wear them. Ve'eshe bigdei kahuna nitnu lahanos bahen, because the bigdei kahuna were given to the kohanim for them to get benefit from.
Okay, so we have two halachas here. One, to wear the bigdei kahuna outside of the Medina, outside, let's say Yerushalayim, that would be forbidden. But to wear the bigdei kahuna for a kohen, we're talking about wearing the bigdei kahuna during the avoda in the Beis Hamikdash, or even not during the avoda during the Beis Hamikdash, as long as it's in the Beis Hamikdash, they could wear the bigdei kahuna. Because why? Because the bigdei kahuna are nitnu lahanos ben. They're given to you to get hana from, right? But only within the Beis Hamikdash.
What choice did they have? They're basically, didn't they always have to wear big?
Well, let's say they were finished with their avoda and they wanted to enjoy they wanted to
They had a
go
job.
daven. They wanted to go daven. Now, perfect example. They finished the Mishnah explains that after they finished the offering of the Tamid Shel Boker, right? They would leave the Azara by the Mizbeach and go to Lishkas Chazav to daven. So at the time when they would be davening, would they have to change out of their bigdei kahuna? According to this, not. They could remain wearing their bigdei kahuna while they're davening.
Was the big corner soiled from the avoda, from the ash? And
Perhaps, blood, perhaps, maybe. Yeah, could be. Yeah. Okay, so now we just established the halakha that outside the Medina, outside Yerushalayim, a kohen could not wear the bigdei kahuna. Okay,
I guess Shema Mina probably goes back on what we just said.
right.
Medina lo hisnu.
Well, that's that question. Medina loy, and in the Medina, meaning outside of Yerushalayim, you could not wear the bigdei kahuna. Vatanya, we have a brisa which is going to prove that you could in fact wear the bigdei kahuna outside of Yerushalayim. What is that?
V'atanya and Raisa be'esrim v'chamesha b'teves Yom Har Hagrizim.
Agrizim who?
Yom Har Hagrizim. It's the day of Har Hagrizim.
Right. So okay. Well, we'll explain all.
Okay.
I'll give you a little preface. The brisa is as follows. This is a day. The 25th of Teves is a day called Yom Grizim. Why Yom Grizim? There were many days in the calendar of the Jewish calendar that were listed in Megillas Tainus. Why is it called Megillas Tainus? Because those were the listing of days that would be forbidden to fast. A person wanted to fast, or a public fast, an individual to fast, would be usher to fast, because those certain days had certain, not exactly Kedusha, but they were days where miracles occurred for the Jewish people, and they were days set aside for Simcha, because a miracle occurred on those days. So it would be contradictory to the Simcha of the day, and therefore you couldn't fast, right? So the 25th of Teves is one of those days, and that day was called Yom HaGrizim. Why was it called Yom HaGrizim? As follows.
Delo mispaid, no mispadim.
Right, there was no mispaid, meaning also there's no espadim on those days. Also, Tainus is, yeah.
Yom shevikshu kusim es beis Elokeinu.
Elokeinu, yeah.
That was the day that the kusim
They sought the base. They sought in this case. They were read further. They
Okay.
said,
Me Alexandros
Alexandros
Mukdam.
Mukdam,
Lahachivu.
Here.
They asked Alexander Mukdam for permission to destroy the Beis Hamikdash.
Right. So on the 25th of Teves, right, the Kusim, they sought and requested from Alexandros Mukdam, Alexander the Great, to give permission to destroy the Beis Hamikdash.
Who were the Kusim?
That they had certain avodah zoras. That's where their capital, so to speak, was on Har Grizim, right? And they worshipped idols. They were not at that point friendly to the Jewish people, right? They may have been originally converts, or yes or no. That's depending on the time and the place of where they're being referred to. Right? But at this point, for our purposes now, the Kusim were not at all friendly to Kadosh Baruch Hu. The Beis Hamikdash represented to them a conflict with their desire to have Har Grizim to be the capital of Avodah Zorah in Eretz Yisrael. So obviously the Beis Hamikdash lahavdil being the Makam of Kedusha and Avoda in Yerushalayim was a conflict for them, so they wanted to eliminate Has v'Sholom, the Beis HaMikdash. So they saw that Alexander Muktam, being powerful as he was, coming to Eretz Yisrael, they sought to use their influence to influence Alexander in trying to destroy the Beis HaMikdash. So we see even at the time, and we're going to see now that we're going to introduce Shimon HaTzadik into the Brisa. So we see even from the time of Shimon HaTzadik, which is almost about 200 years before the story of Hanukkah, we see that the Beis HaMikdash was not completely safe from all foreign influences and destructive forces. Not only that, the Kusim as well, if I'm not mistaken, they originally, when we were eventually successful, Ezra and those who came up from Ezra from Bavel, we came and rebuilt the Beis HaMikdash. They resisted the building of the Beis HaMikdash very much, and other people as well. They enlisted in their attempts to forestall the building of the Beis HaMikdash Sheni. So they sought that to gain permission from Alexander the Muktam to destroy the Beis HaMikdash.
The Notion of Heaven gave it to them.
And actually, they sought his permission, and he gave them permission to destroy the Beis HaMikdash.
Bo vodu as Shimon HaTzadik, ma aseh.
Okay, so they came and informed Shimon HaTzadik of this decree that Alexander Muktam had now gave permission for the Kusim to destroy the Beis HaMikdash.
And they asked Reb Shimon HaTzadik, what should we do?
Who came?
Jews.
Didn't say who, right? It doesn't say. Hodiu, it was made in, it was in, yeah, now that, people may have found out about it and told them about it. What exactly, how he found it, don't know.
It was the media.
That's right.
Okay. Lavish Bidei Kahuna, he put on his Bidei Kahuna, the Stase Bidei Kahuna,
And he wrapped
he wrapped
himself,
himself up in them. Umiyakre Yisrael Imo, and he took out, I guess, the
distinguished members of Klal Yisrael, right?
Yakre,
The Yakor, from the cherished, the distinguished people of the Jews. Right. So again, Ma'asa, what did Shimon HaTzadik do after he heard that Alexander had given permission? He put on the Bigdei Kahuna, and he wrapped himself in the Bigdei Kahuna, and he took with him the distinguished members of Klal Yisrael.
Uvokos shel or biyodehem, they had torches in their hands. V'chol halayla halalu holchim mitzad zeh.
Halalu holchim mitzad zeh. Right. We call halayla, and the whole night halalu holchim mitzad zeh. Meaning there were two delegations. There was a delegation led by Shimon HaTzadik and the Jews, and there was a delegation of the Kusim, right? And they were the whole night they wanted to go out to meet Alexander the Great, right? So the whole night they were going, each delegation, this one on that side, and each one going basically in tangent along the roads to where they were going to meet Alexander Hamuktam.
Acha'ala Amud HaShachar, until the sun came up. Kivin Cha'ala Amud HaShachar, Amar Lahem, when the sun came up, Amar Lahem, Alexander said to them.
Very good, right.
Okay.
When it came to Amud HaShachar, now that they could basically begin to see what's going on, so Alexander said to the Kusim among that were by him, Mi alalu, who are these people, meaning approaching him?
Okay. Amar Lo, they said back to them, Yehudim, Shemardu, Bach, the Jews who were rebelling against you?
Right.
Okay.
They, the Kusim, said to Alexander the Great, these are the Yehudim, the Jews Shemardubach, that are rebelling against you. Which is, of course, not true at all.
Right.
It was all a lie.
Kivin La Antipatris.
Right. There's a
That's a
certain
city?
place.
A
A
city?
certain place.
Okay.
A certain place along the way. Right.
Zorcha Chama, the sun
Rose.
Upagu Zeh Bezeh,
So they met, meaning the Jews
and the Kusim met each other.
Jews, and they met up with Alexander the Great. So now That was Omer Shachar, which is basically 72 minutes before the sunrise. So during this time, they were coming closer and closer to Alexander Mukdam.
Okay.
It came sunrise, and they finally met. At sunrise, they met.
Kivin Shirah L'Shimon HaTzadik, when Alexander saw Shimon HaTzadik, Yared Mi Mirkavso, he got off his chariot.
Good.
V'ishtachavu Lefanav,
Period.
and
Okay.
he bowed down to him.
Right. Amazing thing, right? When Alexander Mukdam saw Shimon HaTzadik dressed in the Bigdei Kahuna, he came off of his chariot and he bowed down to Shimon HaTzadik. An amazing historical
And the
event.
Kusim weren't very happy with that.
Well, we'll see how happy they were at the end. They didn't live to smile.
Amrlo, they said to him, Melech Gadol Kemoscha, a great king like you, Shtachvel Yehudi, you should bow down to this Jew.
Right. So the Kusim, the Kusim couldn't believe their eyes. They said, a great melech like you are bowing down to the Jew? What's gotten into you?
Yehudi said to this Jew,
Right.
Amrlo, he said back to them, Demus di Yikunu Shel Zeh, I saw his visage, his picture, his image,
Right.
the image, Min Nitztachas Lifnei Habayis,
Lefanai,
Lefonai Babayis,
Bebeis Malach Milchamti. Bebeis Milchamti.
On the battlefield.
On the battlefield. That's a way of expression on the battlefield.
okay.
Bebeis Milchamti.
So I saw his image before me in the battlefield.
Okay, let's stop for a moment. So why did he bow down to Shimon HaTzadik? This was not the first time he saw Shimon HaTzadik. Alexander Mukdam had seen Shimon HaTzadik many times before.
Before he went out to battle.
Before he went out to battle, he saw a visage, a form of Shimon HaTzadik leading the way for his victories.
Encouraging him.
Yeah, an amazing phenomenon. Okay, let's finish the Gemara.
Amar Lahem, he said to them,
Meaning Alexander Mukdam said to them,
to the Kutim, Lama Batim,
no, he said to the Jews. He said to the Jews, why you come? Why have you come?
Lama Batim, why did you come? Amru, they said to him, Efsher Beis Shemis Palalin Bo Alayich, Yal Malchuscha Shalo Tischarev. Is it possible that the place where we pray for you and your kingdom that it should not be destroyed, that these goyim should come and destroy it?
Right.
Or asked to destroy it?
Right, so going back to the original point, the Kusim had convinced Alexander the Great that they should be able to destroy the Beis Hamikdash. Shimon HaTzadik had heard about this. He got dressed in the Bigdei Kahuna, took the delegation of Jews along with him, and they finally met Alexander the Great by sunrise. At sunrise they met. Alexander Mukdam saw Shimon HaTzadik. He bowed down and
Got off his horse.
got off his horse, and he bowed down, and he said, they asked him, why are you bowing down to the Jew? And he said, look, every time I've gotten out to bow, Shimon HaTzadik, he didn't know who he was exactly, but he saw this visage was leading me the way throughout all his battles. He conquered the world. And so now they said, in response to his question, what have you come out to meet me here for? She says, is it possible that in this house, meaning the Beis Hamikdash, where we pray for you and pray for your kingdom, right, it should be destroyed through this conspiracy of the Goyim, right? Amar Lehem.
So Alexander Mukdam said back to the Jews,
Yep.
Mi halalu, who are these people?
Who are these Goyim that are conspiring to destroy this house that the Jews pray for my benefit and the benefit of my kingdom?
Amrullah, they said to him, Kusim halalu she'omdim lofanecha, this Kusim that stand before you.
Oh, he pointed the finger. This is very similar to
Esther.
to Esther. Oh,
Haman HaRasha. He's the guy.
that's right. Amar Lehem. So what? By how many he got hung? So what did they do
So
here?
Amrulahem, so Alexander Mukdam said, Harehem Mosrim biyadechem,
Oh.
I give them over to your
You
hands.
can do it anything you want to them.
Miyad Nikruvim Akvahem with their spears.
Immediately they put holes in their from Akiv, their heels. They put holes in their heels.
Okay.
They bored through their heels of these kusim.
They told him bezanve susim, and they tied them to the tails of the horses.
Right. They took they had put holes through their heels, and they put the horses' tails through the holes in their heels and tied them there.
Vayu megardin osam al hakutzim, and they yal havarkanim, achigu lahar grizim, and they ran through the thorns and the rocks.
They scattered the horses and they dragged the kusim through the thorns and through the rocks, whatever's on the ground, until they came to our grizim, and there was probably not much left of them after the first 10 minutes.
Kivachigu lahar grizim, chadashu harshuhu vizrohu karshanim.
They plowed?
Yeah, when they reached, so the Jews were following them to Har Grizim. So when they reached it, they plowed it under, and they grew their karshanim, thorns and thickets there. Kederech, and the way, meaning they destroyed it. They destroyed what they had. They had actually a
Keder Shabak Shalat Sos the base Elokeinu, as they wanted to do to Hashem's house.
Right. So we destroyed Har Grizim, the temple, the Avodah Zarah that was on Har Grizim, through the permission of Alexander Mukdam. We destroyed theirs as Avodah Zarah as they wanted to do to the Beis Hamikdash. Also,
Yom Asahu Yom Tov. They made a Yom Tov on that day.
Oh. Now, okay, so this is all brought down a halacha that you see from this brisa that the big dekuna can be worn outside the Medina, right? So now we have it. That's the kash. That was the
For a
question.
special purpose.
Oh, so that the Gemara has the mitaretz. The more. So what's the teretz? Iboy seima. If you want to answer, if you want to say.
Ema Ruyan Lebidekun made it look like to be Dekun.
Well, they were fit, meaning these were big dekuna that were made for the big dekuna, but they hadn't been used yet, so they hadn't been miskadesh, they hadn't been holy yet, and therefore forbidden to take out of the Medina. It was only made for the big dekuna. That's one teretz.
Iboy Seima Es Lasos Hashem Hifub Toraska. It is a time of emergency,
right?
A special time.
Like I take action.
It's right. It's Asalas Nefashis. It's actually Rabbi Elisha asked the question: why do you have to come on to the teretz of Eis Lasos Hashem? Meaning this is a special time. Why couldn't you just come on? It's the Asalas Nefashis. Asalas Nefashis. So he has a teretz. I didn't go into I saw the question. Didn't have a chance to see his answer. But I have a chance tomorrow to answer it. So therefore, the Gemara is doika the kasha from the Bryce, and we see that in fact it should be usher under normal circumstances with normal big day kahuna to take them out of the Medina, and you don't have a kasha from the Bryce. Okay, but now, right, we can learn a little bit more about the Bryce, and there are going to be some very very important points to mention about this and how it's going to relate to our celebration of Hanukkah. So first of all, you see that Shimon HaTzadik had led, by Alexander Mukdam's own admission, he had led him through each and every one of his battles. He led him through his battles to success, right? So, and we know that the beginning of the Greek influence, right, and it only came to us because of the influence of the Alexander Mukdam and the fact that he came to conquer the world. So the fact that Alexander Mukdam conquered the world somehow was tied with the presence of Shimon HaTzadik. Now exactly how that works, I can't say. I have to see Mefarshim to speak about such things. But
Maybe he was a shiliach by Hashem to help Alexander Mukdam.
well, so if we say that, which apparently that would be the case, why would Hashem want Alexander Mukdam, right, to conquer the world and to bring us to a situation of Hanukkah? What could be possibly
Benefit?
causing, and what benefit could be that Alexander Mukdam should conquer the world? How is that going to benefit the Jews? How is that going to create Kiddush Hashem in the world?
Well,
Hashem wants.
you might want to say that because Alexander was good to the Jews, he was rewarded with his ability to conquer the world. And when the Greeks did not follow in his footsteps, even a miut of the Jews were able to destroy them.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a personal experience with Alexander. I can say whether he was a long time ago. But my Zayda Allah Shalom was called Pesach Alexander. But then he had another name, Zisha. So I did some research. Why people who was born in Poland in the 1880s, 90s, why they had Zisha? Excuse me, the Stetels, they didn't want to have the name Alexander. That was a Greek name, okay? So therefore they added Alexander Zisha.
Okay.
And my son, who carries that name, I only gave the name Alexander. When I was much younger, I had my first child. I didn't know that Alexander and Zisha had to go together. In other words, Alexander Zisha, the sweet one, right?
Yeah.
So they would not give a Goyish nomen, especially to call somebody to the Torah. They would call him up, Pesach Alexander Zisha. This is a historic fact how exactly they were from the foreign influences that moved the wall of fire around even the little shtetl.
Right? They were very protective of their Yiddishkeit. So, good morning, Rav Yaakov.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Yes, all right.
Okay, I'll catch you up to where we are.
Yes,
We just finished learning Gemara Yuma, Samek test that is a Gemara briefly as follows. The 25th day of Teves, which is approximately a month and a few days away, right, we're in the approaching Chaf Hei Kislev, Hanukkah, and a month from that will be Chaf Hei, 25th of Teves. That is a Yom Tov, which is also to have Hespedim on, because it's called Yom Grizi, the day of Har Grizi. That's a day that Shimon HaTzadik went out of Yerushalayim to meet Alexander the Great. Okay. And Alexander the Great on that day bowed down to Shimon HaTzadik. Now, why did Alexander the Great, Tremendi, who's the world general, king of the world, conquered the world, why should he bow down? They asked the Kehusim that were next to him, advising him wrongly to try and destroy the Beis HaMikdash. They asked him, why a great king like you are bowing down to this Jew? So he, by his own admission, said as follows, that a visage of Shimon HaTzadik preceded him into all his battles. And obviously he attributed his success in battle to this vision of Shimon HaTzadik. Right? So we see that quite obviously the intention of HaKadosh Baruch Hu was that Alexander the Great should conquer the world. There obviously seems to be a...
And spare,
What's
and spare the Beis HaMikdash.
Well, okay, but sparing the Beis HaMikdash would only have been necessary because the Kusim tried. If there was no Alexander the Great, the Kusim wouldn't be able to have tried. So it's not that this was the reason why Shimon HaTzadik was there at each one of his battles, because don't let him become king. Don't let him become king. Don't let him conquer the world. And you don't have to worry about him giving permission to the Kusim to...
And maybe that was Hashem's plan. And that was the whole reason that Shimon HaTzadik came to him every time he went to battle, gave him a chizuk and a dream. So to me it seems like Hashem's ratzon.
Okay, so maybe let me put the question in this way. If Shimon HaTzadik had not been there, right, leading the way for Alexander Mukta, would Alexander Mukta still have conquered the world or not?
I could say no.
You could say no, right?
Because when a general goes into battle and he's told you're going to win, it gives him chizuk. Psychologically, he's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't see that vision.
That was a simple...
No, he didn't see that vision. He said every time he went to battle,
He saw that
so it might
vision.
be a bad omen, maybe.
The vision helped him. That's what Hashem was.
Yeah, it seemed that there was a good omen. It was a good vision.
Yeah, no, but if he didn't see him,
Oh,
a future,
so
then
let's say he didn't see him, then he would
worry you.
yeah, he would worry. Right. So
that's a
So, no, it's not, it's not, that's clear, it's not put it. But clearly, the fact that Shimon Tzaddik was there leading the way for Alexander the Great was the way that the Beis HaMikdash was saved, right? Hadn't been that way, so he would have said to the Kusim as they wanted, they just destroy it. They wouldn't, the Jews wouldn't have had an opportunity, was this an easy opportunity to convince Alexander the Great oppositely. Clearly, when he went out to battle, his victories were victories. Now, were they victories because of Shimon Tzaddik or not? That we don't know. That we don't. That we don't know. That's conjecture, unless you have some portion that say one way or the other that was the cause.
Right, but the fact that he got down from his horse among all the people who could thank Shimon Tzaddik meant that, in my opinion, that Alexander felt his victories because
Right, he certainly felt that was.
Okay, so that feeling that he had, that feeling of gratefulness that he had, was obviously meant to be used at this time to save the Beis HaMikdash. Okay, that's what we can say. That we can safely say. We can pashtus. That feeling of greatness is of appreciation Hashem wanted Alexander Muktam to have in order that the Beis HaMikdash should be destroyed. Okay, very good. Now, whether or not the status of Alexander the Great was necessary as a plan of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, obviously history, as anything that occurs in history, is obviously a plan of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. People using their own free will to do things or not to do things, right? But what happened here, that Hashem, so to speak, removed the Bechira from Alexander the Great, right? Because of that feeling of gratefulness to Shimon Tzaddik, Alexander could not freely now destroy the Beis HaMikdash. Meaning, it already had been decreed by him that the Beis HaMikdash should have been destroyed because the Kusim asked for that, and he granted it to them. I mean, I guess it didn't matter too much to Alexander whether the Beis HaMikdash existed or not, right? By the time of Hanukkah, right, 200 or so years later, we see that the Greeks, right, had made it their goal, their plan to destroy the Beis HaMikdash, right? Meaning what their own great general, their great king, had allowed and wanted to exist 200 years later, right? They were intent upon destroying, right? So we'll have to stop now, but maybe there's a point we can continue with tomorrow. What happened between the time of Alexander the Great's bowing down to Shimon Tzaddik and Antiochus, right, wanting to destroy and actually coming into the Beis HaMikdash? Parts, they did destroy it, they did defile it, they did take all the kelim out of it, and we finally had to, with the help of Hashem, roust them and oust them from the Beis HaMikdash to Yerushalayim and have the miracles of Hanukkah. Right? So what happened in those 200 years? So maybe tomorrow we can go into a little bit more detail about that. And Mitzvah Hashem, we'll have to stop now for the Gemara Shir.
Could we say